Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's look at the fourth sacred word. Remember what the first three were. At-tayyibâtu, al-mubarakatu, as-salawatu. The first one refers to all living things. The second, al-mubarakatu, points to seeds, grains and eggs. Those tiny little seeds that are the source of all these creatures. The third refers to the prayers of conscious beings, asking God for what they need and God answering those needs. Now the fourth one, At-tayyibâtu, looks at conscious beings specifically, humans, angels and jinns. It's like the universe is divided into four parts. First, life itself. Second, the seeds and eggs from which life comes. Third, the living creatures meeting their needs. And fourth, the beings who can actually see, understand, and realize all this, humans, jinns, and angels. So, when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, At-tayyibâtu lillah, during the Ascension, the Miraj, what did he mean? Who was he referring to? That's what we're looking at. These words became sacred because they were spoken during the Ascension, right? He is speaking to the creator of the entire universe. The prophet, acting as the foreman, the representative of the whole cosmos, presents these words there. And these words cover everything. They describe God in the most beautiful way. At-tayyibâtu, all tayyib things, all pleasant, beautiful meanings and truths belong to God. The Master says, I was driven, almost involuntarily, to explain the truths of the Fatiha and the Tashahhud At-tahiyyatu with short signs, because the truths of the RİSALE-İ Nur are often inspired during the prayer tasbihat. What do we learn from this, brother? When do most of these truths come to the Master's heart? During the prayer beads, the tasbihat. That means there is a special presence, a peace there. You are praising God with His names, and that's when He sends the inspiration. Remember when the Master gave the 11th Ray book to someone in the Denizli prison, he asked him, did it affect your prayer? That's because it explains the meanings of the prayer. RİSALE-İ Nur doesn't teach us abstract philosophical stuff. It teaches us the reality of the Fatiha and the Tashahhud. Look, a person who prays 40 rakahs a day sits down every 2 rakahs and recites At-tayyibâtu 20 times, right? It teaches us what we are saying those 20 times. He says, I was driven almost involuntarily. That means it's under God's management. As the Master says elsewhere, I was employed without knowing, but you are employed knowingly. People need these truths so much in this century. The human spirit is starving. You see a guy saying, no matter what I do, I can't get rid of this distress inside. Why? Because the cause of that distress is that you aren't taking your real medicine, your real food. Whatever else you put in its place won't work. Humanity can only find true happiness with these truths. Now, think about it like this. A human first looks at the universe, at the creatures, the art. You look at flowers, bugs, butterflies, honeybees. You look at those tiny creatures equipped with amazing devices. Or look at your own organs. A liver creates 700 chemicals. Even chemical factories can't do that. When a person looks at this, they realize this isn't stuff that happens by itself, rolling around over time like the evolutionists say. Imagine a 500-page book. Imagine the letters are made of iron. Put them in a sack. Dump the sack out 100 times, 1,000 times. Will a book appear? Will all those words and sentences line up perfectly? No way. And the human body is far more perfect than a book. People need to understand this. This universe isn't some accidental thing that just happened over time. So, first, you look at the universe and see God. You see the beauty on the creatures and you start to love God. Then you want to see Him. The ascension, Miraj, happens step by step like this. The text says, the sacred word At-tayyibât mentioned in the Ascension of Muhammad, peace be upon him. What does it mean? It refers to the people of knowledge, marifat, and faith, and the possessors of universal consciousness, humans, jinns, angels, and spiritual beings. Notice it says people of knowledge and faith. Faith means accepting God exists. Knowledge, marifat, means knowing Him, knowing His attributes, that He must have infinite power, infinite knowledge to create this universe. It mentions those with universal consciousness. It doesn't count animals here. Animals have a tiny bit of consciousness. They recognize their mother, their food, but it's limited. Humans, however, have universal consciousness. We know ourselves, the universe, and God. It says they beautify the universe with their beautiful pleasantries, good deeds, and worship. Think of a rose garden, colorful roses everywhere. The garden is already beautiful, right? But what's missing? A nightingale. You need a nightingale in that garden to fall in love with those flowers, to sing about their beauty, to present the beauty to the owner. When you add the conscious being appreciating the lifeless beauty, the garden becomes even more beautiful. Just like if you hang a beautiful painting in this room, the room gets beautiful. The beautiful worship, praises, and thanks of humans and angels are a form of beauty. They add to the universe. So, our prayers, our contemplation, we are responding to beauty with beauty. God creates all this beauty for us, and when we are grateful, we complete the picture. As it says in the 24th word, He made it beautiful. O human, don't mess it up with your ugliness and carelessness. It says, these beings look at the world of beauties. The universe is beautiful. The creatures are beautiful. And this beauty climbs steps all the way to God. They look at the infinite beauty of the eternal, absolute, beautiful one. Absolute, beautiful one. You know, a created thing might be beautiful now, but in 40 or 50 years, we get old and wrinkled. A rose fades in a few weeks. The beauty in things isn't permanent, but God's beauty is eternal. Let's expand our thinking on beauty. You're sitting under a tree, and a lovely scent comes from it. Who created that scent? God did. It's a gift of beauty. Or a nice breeze hits you, fresh oxygen, and you feel refreshed. That's beauty. It rains. Beauty. You bite into an apple and it tastes great. Beauty. If we bring it down to the details of our lives, there are infinite flashes of beauty. Even sitting here with friends having a nice chat, God created this atmosphere. It's all a reflection of the sun of His beauty. So don't just think of beauty as a theory. Think of His actions, His gifts, and it says they know fully the permanent beauties of His names that decorate the universe and respond with love and enthusiasm. Humans naturally have enthusiasm for beauty. If I say there's great food, you come running. If I say there's a beautiful RİSALE-İ class, you come running. Worship is beautiful too. Praying is beautiful. It mentions brilliant faith and wide knowledge. Brilliant faith. Zaim, What does brilliant faith mean? It means your faith has shined, it's fully revealed. Like a lamp, some lamps are dim, some are 500 watts, blindingly bright. Or think of a lantern where you turn the knob all the way up and the light bursts out of the glass. A person with brilliant faith sees God's existence so clearly, it's undeniable. Everywhere they look, they say, God is here, and wide knowledge. We know God exists, but knowing Him is different. Why did He create this? How? Knowing His names. When you see an atom, you need to see the power that controls it. Then it says, with the pleasant sense of their praises. It compares praise to a scent. Imagine a seed. It grows, opens up, becomes a flower, that's knowledge. Then it starts giving off a fragrance, that's praise, Medhusena. The praise comes out of the knowledge, and because these words were spoken in the Ascension, Miraj, the whole Ummah repeats these sacred words in the Tashahhud every day without getting bored. Do we get bored saying At-tayyibât 20 times a day? When do you get bored of something, like eating food? Eventually you get full and don't want any more. But do you get bored of drinking water? No, because the need is always there. Our need to think of God, our need for His attributes never ends because our spirit is infinitely weak and needy, so we never get bored. Faith is the food of the spirit. This universe is a mirror and reflection of an infinite eternal beauty. What is the universe? The Earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, all the galaxies. But just looking at the Earth is enough. The seas, mountains, clouds, fruits, strawberries, queens, fish. God created everything with beauty. All that beauty comes from the Creator. The mirror itself has no image. The image comes from what it's facing. If it faces the sun, it shows the sun. The beauty in the sea or the cloud comes from God. Whatever the Master does is beautiful. Let's see what the Master does. Whatever he does beautifully. Even things that look ugly to us have a hidden beauty, like a fly. We think flies are just flies. But current technology can't even replicate a fly's leg, let alone its eye. God creates these tiny robotic like creatures with amazing devices. And here's a key point: all beauty in the universe comes from that eternal beauty, and through connection, intisab, it becomes beautiful and its value rises. Connection. Look, an apple is beautiful on its own, but when you say, God gave this to me, it becomes a different kind of beautiful. It becomes a divine gift, like a gift from a friend. It has sentimental value. Look at this glasses case. It's in a museum because it belonged to the master, said Nursi. His comb, his quilt. If you sold them as regular items, nobody would buy them. But because they belong to him, they are precious. When you realize a flower belongs to God, its value skyrockets. Otherwise, the universe would be a chaotic ruin, a place of sadness. A ruin is an abandoned, broken down place. It gives you sadness. But if you know it has an owner, that every atom is under control, it becomes a palace. Faith beautifies everything. And who announces this connection? The town criers and advertisers of the sovereignty of divinity, humans, angels, and spirits. Humans are the advertisers. Delal, the master, was a town crier announcing God to everyone. We are trying to do the same. You talk about what you love. It says they send their good, and sweet praises to the supreme throne. How? To publish their words everywhere and send them to the side of the supreme throne, the particles of the air act like tiny tongues and ears. We are speaking here. The sound travels through the air, spreads to the atmosphere, then through the ether, all the way to the throne. The text says it occurred to the Master's heart that the air was created for this amazing purpose. Think of a simple example. Imagine a king sends a gift to 100 million citizens. Everyone says thank you individually. But imagine if all those thank yous could be collected into one massive, unified thank you and presented at the king's court. Wouldn't that be more beautiful? That's what happens. The air collects all our praises and presents them together. Then it talks about humans again. Just as humans and angels make the majestic object of worship known through their faith, but there is a difference. That wise, majestic one makes himself known in a brilliant way by giving those advertisers comprehensive abilities and amazing devices, making each of them like a miniature universe. You make a robot, the robot looks at a flower and says, "This is art." The robot itself is more amazing than the flower, right? Humans are more amazing than the rest of the universe. We have consciousness, science, thoughts. Creating multiple amazing machines in man's tiny head, in a place the size of a walnut, like the power of memory, imagination, and thought. Let's ask Muhammad, is the human head tiny? You say no. Compared to what's inside it, it's tiny. You can't fit 100 rooms in this room, but God fit the universe inside our heads. Think about memory. We take it for granted. I remember your name is Muhammad. If I didn't have memory, I'd ask you, you'd tell me, and I'd forget it instantly. But it's recorded. How? Is there a painter inside drawing your face? It's an amazing machine. An imagination. You can sit here and travel the universe in your mind. And making the power of memory into a huge library. A space the size of a lentil stores a lifetime of information, millions of books worth of data. Evolution can't explain that. It shows the pre eternal knowledge, ilm, of God shining like the sun. You can't see this table in the dark, but you can see the sun because it is its own light. God's knowledge shows itself like the sun. And look at the footnote. My very severe illness does not permit me. The master wrote this while he was incredibly sick. Right now, I have a toothache and I'm understanding maybe 50% of what I'm reading. But he wrote these masterpieces while in severe pain. It shows this is a gift from God, a divine assistance. We think everything is normal, that it has to be this way. That's an illusion. Every atom is a divine gift. We need to break this habit of familiarity. We need to read RİSALE-İ seriously. As the text said, we need to smell the scent. You have to taste the apple, smell it, enjoy it fully. We need to absorb these truths with our mind, heart, and spirit. May God grant us that understanding.